Somebody's here. Okay, well, Jahan, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Egypt
Oh, we're in Egypt.
and Cairo.
Oh my gosh. I was in Cairo once. What a wild.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a very different market actually. It's exactly like you were explaining around. There's only a few people in the industry that actually know what we're doing, but then there's also like people who are creating new spaces for the healing industry to grow.
I amazing. Okay, well, let's read your thing. You said how to start teaching an online course working with women who are curious to overcome burnout. My business is called Homebody for Women Who Are Tired of Being Tired. Great. And this is your website. Take it. Okay, so what's your question then?
All right, so I'm a yoga teacher who specialized into yoga nidra, and then I specialized deeper into working with women who are navigating burnout. But then now I want to move more from teaching weekly group classes into teaching group online courses. And I'm so indecisive around the shift into an online course of how to market for it. And like now
Mm.
that I broadened, like I niched down, but I also broadened the audience. So that shift is what I'm asking. Like, how do we initiate that marketing? Do I launch a free online like talk? But then I don't have a huge online base. So how do we approach this kind of marketing?
Okay, I've got some thoughts. So, first of all, I think putting it in the title Yoga Nidra for burned out women is probably, I imagine there'll be women who are searching that in particular. I mean, you might want to figure out how many women are searching that particular term, but in this case, that is part of the boat, the Yoga Nidra, but it's the kind I know I've searched it. I've gone on YouTube and like Yoga Nidra for burnout, Yoga Nidra for
But the problem is that people don't know what yoga nidra is yet for now, the market here in Egypt. Like I'm still initiating that kind of like overcoming burnout through yoga nidra and other things, but like this is a main tool we use.
Yeah, I see. So this is part of the difference is you may have two different markets. There may be enough in the global market for online that understand what yoga nidra is and women like yoga nidra burnout women who are Googling that kind of thing to see what kind of support they can find. But so generally the thing I'd say is if you are shifting online, almost always the niche has to narrow. If you're in a small town, call it the inverse law of geography. If you're in a small town, you're going to have to do a bunch of things. You're going to have to wear a bunch of hats, do a bunch of different businesses, have a fairly broad niche. You'll probably have to be a generalist because if you want to work locally, there's just not enough people in a particular narrow niche. But as we go online, it's got to flip. And we've got to get really, really focused and almost absurdly focused. And so women and burnout is so part of it is there's a focus, but it's also again this question how many other people are doing this, and there's a lot of people out there in the burnout space helping women who are burned out. Now some of them are just going to want to work with you because they like your vibe, etc. So the first invitation would be to consider narrowing even more for the online side. That could be you focus on yoga nidra for burned out women, or it could be a particular type of woman, particular community, like it could be you know uh, for Christian women who are burned out, for anarchist women, for this kind of thing. So this is where the ideal client work can come in. We start to hone it. Of like, who do you really want to work with? Getting that clear. But the second thing is when you're moving online, right? How do you reach anybody? Simultaneously, it's everybody in the world, but oh no, it's everybody in the world and they don't know you. So how do you even get in front of them? How do you find them in the first place? Which again goes back to who are you trying to find? Finding burned out women. Okay, there are going to be some hubs for that, but I would say that um, so there's six different things we can be known for in our niche: who, what, where, when, why, and how. Those are the six. So I think there's some refining that you could do on the who. Then the what is the yoga nidra, but also sometimes the what is, well, it's a combination of these things. Where geographically, okay, now we've lost that because we're online. When? Well, there might be time zone things, so that can actually that may determine some of who you get. I just got an email before I got on this call saying, "Oh, I'd love to do the meantime semester, but the calls are the timing doesn't work." That's it, you know. Um, where, when, why we do it. Sometimes our work is about a deeper cause or purpose, and this is what draws people. And then how, and the how includes our point of view. So an example of this was Suzanne Kohlberg, who has done a lot of work around weight loss. But so that's immediately you understand. Everybody teaches weight loss. There are tens of thousands of weight loss coaches out there. So if you could put yourself in the place of being a podcast host and somebody calls you and says, "Hey, can I be on your podcast? Because I help people with weight loss." You understand how uncompelling that is. It's like, yeah, you and everybody else. But she had an interesting take on it. So the how, the point of view, the approach she had was, she said, "What if we're overweight because we overgive? It's not that we don't know how to take care of our health, it's that we don't do it because we're so busy taking care of other people. So what if we're overweight because we overgive?" And when she reached out to podcast hosts, that was what hooked them. So it might be that you have a unique take on burnout. Like, in one sentence, why do you think most of these women are so burned out in the first place?
Because they think there's just never enough, like they operate from lack.
Yeah.
Not enough time, not enough, not enough. So that's how I said it. Like, how can you redefine the relationship with time through yoga nidra?
Okay. So they're under this kind of spell of not enough as one, and that they need to change their relationship to time. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I could see that being part of the pitch to a podcaster is like, look, I work with women around burnout, but I'm not like a boundaries coach or this. I'm more, it's more about their relationship with time itself. That's what needs to be worked on. That's an interesting hook. Okay. So the first thing is there's just some more niching reflections to do, but the second piece on the tactical side is again the signature workshop thing. I would design a 1 hour presentation and find people who are already reaching these women, but not offering the services you do. It might be an herbalist, for example, right? And they're giving tinctures, but they're not doing the yoga nidra stuff. So it's complementary. It could be a fitness trainer, it could be a therapist who would like their client to also develop a somatic practice to relax. So there may be other people, podcasts or groups who could bring you in. Women's groups, certainly. You know, there'd be all sorts of women's groups out there who might be interested in bringing you in of this yoga nidra and burnout. It could also be other yoga teachers who have other focuses. They work with women, but on other things, and they bring you in to do a presentation. But an hour-long presentation where you say, look, here's who I am, here's my story, here's how I ended up doing this, and here's my take on burnout. Here's why I think we burn out. And then you give them some little, which is great in your case. You could just do a 5 minute guided yoga nidra, drop in experience. And then you just say, here's what else I have. Here's the course that we have coming up. But just get in front of as many people as you can and share your philosophy, share your point of view. That would be my main thinking. How does that all land for you?
No, it landed well. It's just that I'm trying to like differentiate between in-person signature workshops and online work. Like, I'm trying to wonder if I do the in-person signature workshops and then they would convert into like, because the market here is sometimes like this. If people know you, they invest with working with you online.
Well, the thing I might say is right here on this homepage, I might have a button is like, do you live in Cairo? Click here.
But
Online?
most of my audience lives in Cairo. That's the thing.
Yeah, but you're wanting to do some online workshops, and I imagine some you're going to want to reach people who are outside of Cairo, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I might, if you want to differentiate, I would just have a button like if you're in Cairo, boom, click here, here's what we're doing. And if it's online, if you're just online from elsewhere, click here. Because
Okay.
possibly the Cairo thing might say, look, here's the local events that I'm doing as well. Are you going to do any local events in Cairo?
Yeah, like I'm trying to market for the online course through local events.
Yeah. Um, The so yeah, it depends. I mean, if you want to, you could just start with Cairo and you say, look, I'm going to try to fill these online events with people locally in Cairo, and then you just do a lot of events in Cairo. That's your whole thing. And then eventually you do more events online. But you could absolutely start locally. I mean, I think we've forgotten this in the modern era that you can do local events to promote your stuff and get local clients. And then they're going to tell their friends who don't live locally. But yes, you can absolutely do that. Do you have any follow-up questions?
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.